Donnie be GotDaBeats.
What's good, everybody? It's Donnie B. Got the Beats. We live on the latest edition of the Beat, man. Look, listen, ladies and gentlemen, it's Father's Day, and I was like, you know what? I still want to be able to provide the talent and everybody, the dopest stories and people that I can find, even though it's Father's Day. And today's guest is not going to disappoint. I've had her on before. The sister is doing her thing, and like when last time I talked to her, she was doing her thing. Guess what? She's still doing her thing, and so I wanted to make sure you guys get that contrast because you got to understand that time keeps ticking, time keeps moving, and we all evolve. And I guarantee you're gonna like the place that she's in. But without further ado, for those who don't know, it's time for that glorious intro, y'all. Let's go. So Queen Summerlin, look, ladies and gentlemen, I had her on a long time ago, man. Early in the COVID pivots, man. And the sister's been doing her thing, and she was doing her thing back then, and we were definitely grossly enamored with all of the stuff that she put out into the universe. And just like everybody else, just like what royalty does, they keep it moving in the background. So I was favored and blessed for her to reach back out and say, "Hey, look, I got some new stuff I'd like to share." So I'm glad to have her back. Without further ado, I have the founder and director of Primp Agency and Primp Agency Modeling Centers, got Sha Summerlin. What's going on, Miss Summerlin? How you doing?
I'm doing glorious, like your glorious intro, honey. Yeah.
That's what it is, man. Like you said, make sure that you can like and subscribe. We're gonna start there because and get your pens and pads out. Sister's gonna give you some knowledge on this interview.
Absolutely.
But Shay, so bring us back up to speed.
Oh my goodness. The last time I saw you, well, hello everybody. Yep, I am Sha Summerlin. I am the CEO or the CEO, like I like to say, of Primp Agency. I'm also a singer and songwriter, like the brother has put on the promo and let y'all know. So we'll talk about all of the things today. But last time I saw you all, it was during probably quarantine when we all thought we were gonna, be back to quote normal in a couple weeks. Fast forward 2023, and so much has happened. I have started relocating to Central Florida from Lower Alabama. Big move, big move, and expanding what I do with my agency as well as with my music, which I've been sleeping on for years and years and years. I slept on my music for a little while and just worked behind the scenes with people a little bit. So what I'm going to do now, what I've already started doing, was getting back into the songwriting and the music field just as much as I am in the beauty and fashion field. We're Primp Agency. That's what I'm going to do. We're going to just make home base now in Central Florida. And I can't wait to get it
She's already putting the work out in the universe, man, and we're gonna get to that. We're gonna give y'all a snippet of what she's been working on in the interim. Make sure you again. I got an Insta math down at the bottom, Sha Summerlin official on Insta. Make sure you like, subscribe, follow, DM slide, all the whole nine, but just
I,
within respect.
I follow back. Holla at me.
Indeed. So for those that missed the first episode, Shay, I want you to go back really quick, and I know it might be tedious, but I want you to go back and talk to the people that missed the first episode. I want you to tell them just who is Sha Summerlin really quick.
Okay. Well, we can never, we can never not do that enough. Not enough people know who I am, and I am always open to learning other people and working with other people. So
Word.
this is an intro and a networking and a connect right here for who all who wants to and needs to connect with me. I am oh my goodness, I am a woman of passion and purpose. I've known my purpose since I was probably 11, 12 years old. I've done articles about it. Ever since I was 11 or 12, my father asked me, hey, what you want to be when you grow up? I said, like all girls, a model. He said, okay, well, if that don't work out. So I said, okay, I want to be a businesswoman. I want to be a businesswoman. And he said, okay, I can dig it. But in my mind, I had it already spelled out. I wanted to have an agency or a company. I don't know what it was. But at 11 or 12 years old, I knew that I wanted to have a company that entertained, that had women and men who were fabulous, and they would do shows and they would do runway and they would do entertainment and they would travel and do it for people and make people happy and and do what we do. And they would all have my company name on their t-shirts, and we'd have shirts, and we would go show up, show out, and leave and go to the next place. At 11 or 12 years old, this is what I wanted to do, right? Center stage and behind the stage. And that is what, in essence, I have done for the last 30 years of my life. Since 19 years old, I did my first fashion show at 19 years old. Sold out a nightclub that I wasn't even old enough to get in. Whole nother story. I wasn't old enough to even party in there. I'm 19. But they gave me the keys and said, hey, go practice, do what you need to do. And ever since, I have been that chick. That is just who I am. I embody music. I love good music. I've been singing since the womb, probably. And I love fabulosity. Anything that has to do with feeling good, feeling good for other people to be inspired by and entertained by is what I'm about. That is me. And I mentor, I don't mind mentoring. Anybody knows me knows that. They know, I'm here, I'm an open book, and I'm advice, even though I need advice as well, right?
Right.
I am that woman. That is who I am. I give so that I can give back in those capacities. I love it. That's who I am. It's what I do. And I'm a mama. We don't forget that's Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers. I've already sent my Father's Day messages. And I am a mother of 3 beautiful children, 2 grown. 2 of them are grown. And one of them has made me a grandma now. The hair looks about, 60, 70 years old. I am not. But I am a grandma. I am a grandma, and I love it. I have a 3-year-old and a 6-year-old, and I love them dearly. They looking like mini me's. They do the primping like I do already. So that is in essence who I am. I love it. I ended up being that businesswoman doing exactly what I wanted to do at 11, 12 years old. Today, I still do it 30 years later from the first fashion show. That's it.
And I love it because I've actually had the luxury of having Quinn on a previous
My
show,
son, my born.
and he did not disappoint. He followed in the royalty footsteps.
He's an up and coming producer, and I absolutely love it. We're gonna do some things together here eventually, so look out for that.
That's why we brought you back, because you got this music going on. So we're gonna get to that a little bit later on, but definitely want to make sure you guys be on the lookout for both Quinn as well as Shay, and follow Shay, as I said before. And I'm gonna throw this there every chance I get out. Follow Shay on Insta on her Sha Summerlin official on Instagram. Like, subscribe, follow the whole 9.
Absolutely. You can follow me on Facebook too. I don't know if you can befriend me anymore. I get 5,000 and then start erasing people, and then have to I get 5,000 more, and I got to erase people just to get new people. But you can try on Facebook, Sha Summerlin.
I have not had the pleasure. I feel I need to I need to glean. We need to print my.
Come on over. I'm on the Facebook a lot.
That's what it is, man. Well, that's when you know you popping. When you gotta kind of it automatically leans people on your social media. You know what I mean?
I do.
All right. So again,
Yep.
from a bird's eye glance, because again, we've had you on before, and I definitely don't want to take up your time by replicating the information that you've already shared with us. But I feel it'd be good for us to know, and for the viewers to know that are catching this episode that missed the last one. When did you discover your talents for entertainment?
Oh, that's a good one. When I was a kid, I can think back. Oh my gosh, it's singing specifically. I come from a singing family. In my town here in Enterprise, Alabama, where I was born, if you know an Ingram, right? The last name is Ingram. They go, oh, y'all sing. And we do. We do. Pretty much all of us sing, whether we sing in the choir, sing out in front of, or a solo, or have a quartet group, or whatever. We sang. We some singing people. So I know that, but the first time that I knew that, oh man, I have something that everybody don't have, was I was 12 years old and I was singing in the choir with my mom. I've always sang in the choir with my mom, right? I remember being in the choir, standing in front of her, like little itty bitty, not even, not a grown folk to be in the choir, but right there with the music. And when I was 12 years old, we were doing a mass choir concert at our church, right? There was people from all over that could come, and it was a workshop. And they would always say, if anybody is interested in leading any of these songs we just learned, stick around after rehearsal. Now, this is a choir of over 100 people, right? And mostly adults, of course, except for little Shay. I got to be in there right beside my mom, still at 12 years old. And I said, Mom, I want to try out for you. And she looked at me like, oh, like, okay, right? Like, if you must, okay, if you must, right? At this time, I never sang out before, but I knew that I could, right? I knew that I don't know how I knew, but I knew that I could, like playing around, singing and stuff. I felt like, no, I'm drawn to that, right? And I said, no, I feel like I can do it. She said, okay. My mom didn't even audition to sing, right? We're both in the soprano section together. I stayed after and I met with the music directors and I'm like, I want to sing. I'm in here with these women that are 30, 40, 50, 60 years old and men. And I'm like, yeah, I'm trying out. And tried out and got the song, right? Got a song. Now, the audience, it was a Martin Luther King, I want to say it was a Martin Luther King mass choir workshop. So it's a citywide thing. You know what I mean? Or outside the city and everything, the mayor's going to be there. It's from the balcony to the downstairs is packed in the whole church. Those kind of concerts. I wasn't scared. I'm like, I'm excited. I'm ready to do it. They didn't trust me though now, Donnie. They were like, okay, now she's singing. We're going to give her this, but she might freeze up. She's 12. So they had me sing it with one of the veteran singers. Hey, Miss Jessie, I love her to death. She's so much. Miss Jessie, they had her and I sing it together, but I held my own and I was able to sing, and bless her, she helped me through, but I'm up there and I didn't stumble, wasn't scared. And ever since, I've been singing by myself. I've never been in a group. I stopped singing in choirs when I was in high school because by the time high school came, I was being called to do solos around the town, around the city and for programs and for shows and for people. So that did it. That did it. I was 12 years old and I remember singing that in front of hundreds of people, and just felt like, yeah, after that. But it was a thing. Our whole family sang. So I was like, what's the big deal? Right? I didn't think that it was a thing. We all just sang. Until I realized at that moment, yeah, everybody don't sing, right? Like that's not a God. It's not a given. It's a God-given gift, and right. I don't take it lightly.
With that being said, because again, we've had you on before, and even in that was you mentioned your gift for entertainment. But then you also laid out the blueprint and the information with regard to Primp agency and modeling, and you laid that whole foundation out. And I guess the question I want to ask, and I want to kind of spotlight on this, how do you do both? And this is an off-schedule question, right? Because I don't even think I asked you that in the first interview, but I want to ask, how do you do both? Because, again, when we had the first interview, I was barely getting to know you. I didn't, what I mean? Like I was, trying to get, glean the information as I was given. I went and did my homework, what little homework I could do on somebody with a portfolio like yours.
It's a lot.
But then, what I mean? Like for those that, because, and I know, I'm sure you've come across this. There's a lot of people out there in the universe that, they're CEOs. Everybody's a CEO. Everybody got a label. Everybody has a modeling company. Everybody has a record label and so forth and so on. But how do you do both at such a high clip?
Listen, I haven't reached anywhere near where I'm about to go. But I will say that, like I said earlier, honestly, I was born to entertain and inspire,
Mm.
to do the both. And I've always been about music, always born with it. And I've always been born with that little fabulosity, spark. Like, oh no, I want the fashion and the entertainment. I want to do it all. Um, and I learned over the years how to combine the two. And I will tell you, it has been tears. It has been praying and begging. Lord, how do I put these two together? There are my passions. It is what I want to do. I know I'm here to entertain and inspire, whether I try to or not. I end up entertaining or inspiring someone doing something and haven't tried it. So I know that is what I meant to do. But how do I marry the music and the beauty and fashion industry? How do I do it, right? And I literally have been crying, nights in my 20s. I remember writing in my journal one time after an Oprah Winfrey episode. This is leading up to how I got into it, right? How I figured it out.
Yeah.
I'm in my 20s and I'm watching the Oprah Winfrey episode. 4 o'clock after. Everybody know 4 o'clock on on the weekdays. You had to tune in back then, and she was saying something about if you do what you love, follow your bliss. Just follow your bliss and do it for the service of it. Don't worry about getting paid for it, right? That'll come. Figure out what it is that you do, that you can do and be of service to other people. Let that guide you and it'll fall together. And I would, amen. Okay. Right. So I'm writing in my journal and I'm writing and I'm questioning, asking myself and asking the universe and God, okay, how do I be of service and still feed my family? Because right now I'm single mother and I'm struggling and I can feed the kids. I might not always feed me, right? I'm gonna feed the kids. How do I feed the family? How do I make a living and be a service to other people? I couldn't figure it out, right? I'm being a service, but it's not cutting, right? Or I'm being it for free because I just want to do that for people, but I'm not doing something right. So after writing in this journal, Donnie, my electricity got cut off. I'm like, whoo, the kids run away from school. I'm sitting there like so inspired by Oprah and this message and it hit something, but I'm like, okay, how do I figure it out? I'm praying on it and the lights went. I was like, okay, right? So from that point on in my 20s, I was dead set on how do I live up to my purpose and be of service. Everything I've ever done since I've been an adult working at 19 and up has been about servicing somebody or something. I've never not been in the service industry of some sort, right? So it took me from my 20s to my 30s to my 40s, no joke. I was 35 and pregnant with my last child. And I had this term Primp in my head. I had a recording career already, still broke. Okay. I've had, I got records, still broke. I'm performing from here to the Virgin Islands, right? I'm opening up for Drew Hill and I'm opening up for Flowetry and I've opened up for the Sha Lights twice. I'm doing all this stuff and I done been on the Wendy Williams show on her heyday radio days, spotlighted one of my songs like every day for a week at 2 o'clock every day before there was internet and I couldn't even hear it, right? I had to go to the library and try to pull it up and dial up and listen to it. Like I was doing things, but I'm still broke. Then I realized I had a struggle mentality, right? I couldn't pull things together. I couldn't pull it together to save my life. You hear me? I'm too busy surviving. It's what I know, right? It's what a lot of us know. We know how to survive. We came up watching our parents survive. We survived. I was surviving. I can't be of service and then be in struggle mode, survival mode as well, and think I'm gonna make it doing something, right? Sustainable. So here I'm pregnant with my last son after all of this, success that I've had in the music and the beauty industry. By now I've got like 20 years in, you know what I mean? In the beauty industry and been doing shows since I was 19 still. Consistently, I'm still doing shows, but not living to where I need to be, right? Not being at the level that I want to be. So here I'm pregnant. I got this on maternity leave. I got this term Primp in my brain. I've always had it, and I've always had that vision from when I was 11 and 12 years old, telling my dad, right? What I want to be. I want to do this thing. I want that thing. That's what I want. Went on maternity leave, went home, sat on the couch one day and was journaling like normal. And was trying to figure out, wonder if I can do a Primp salon or something, right? I've had salons before. I'm not really, a stationary type of assistant. So, right, that wasn't the goal. In order to entertain the masses, I can't just do that in one city. It's not what I'm going to do. That ain't how I'm going to do it, right? I can't be of service to the so many people in that one city. That's not what I meant to do, right? That is commendable because that's what we do in our industry. But for me, I'm not meant to entertain and inspire in one spot. That's not what God put me here for. And I knew that, right? I knew that. So it came to me that day. I'm talking in my mid-30s after I've been sitting and praying and crying for like a couple decades. And it was like, wow, Primp agency. That's what that was at 11, 12 years old. So not only can you provide music and perform and have other people perform, put other performers on, other singers on, you can also do your shows, have your own crew, like you said you were going to have, the hairstylists, the makeup artists, the models, right? I can have that. I had the photographers. Hey, y'all. The photographers, right? I can have that. That's under my agency. And I can live wherever in the world and run my Primp agency because the artists are from everywhere we can work. I have artists I have some in Atlanta, Atlanta, Georgia, DC, Virginia area, Baltimore and Maryland, Central Pennsylvania, where I was living at the time, Philly, Jersey, and New York. So up the East Coast pretty much, right? Had artists up and down the East Coast. Like, girl, once I thought about it, that is what you can do. That is what you do to be of service to people. You do what you do. You're in the beauty industry. You do fashion. You put on the events and you sing. I've had Grammy Award winning band members, right? Like I know, the people. So now after all this time, God is funny. Because after all this time, now you know how to get behind the scenes. Now right? You've been that one doing all these things. Now you can provide for all these things, these award shows, these productions. You've been in the industry. Now you can provide and be of service to these industries and reach a mass amount of people. And I'm like, oh my gosh, Primp agency. That's what it is. How come it took me? Oh my God, the couple decades literally to figure that out, but it wasn't time. It wasn't time. And that is how I merged the both of them by Primp agency. Because I can throw it's a creative artist agency. I can throw an event today, put a band. I've had bands there, performers there, models and shows and designers. All these people need a platform. We all need a platform. I can do a show in Alabama. I can do a show in Tampa. I can do a show in New York City. Every people need that. I can do a show over there. I'm coming to LA with you. Where you at, Donnie? I'm coming. And put a crew together. I can do it in my eyes sleep, with my eyes closed in my sleep now. I know how to do it in my sleep. I can tell me what you need, what kind of production, what kind of show you need to put on. I guarantee there's talent everywhere. And I know how to spot it, whether it's in the music, entertainment, or whether it's a model. I can spot them 2 miles away and I will put it together for you. And that is how I put together my passion for music and my passion for, the beauty and the fashion in one little Primp agency after all this time. And I'm just now getting to the level where I can do it like I'm doing. I've been doing it like I'm doing it for TV. I don't let nobody work with me unless we're doing it like we're doing it for TV. Right? We ain't doing it unless we're doing it like we're doing it for TV. So now I'm at the point where I am going to be on TV, more often. And I can't give too much away about that, but that's happening. That's happening. And it's about time. But it's just what I do, entertain and inspire. It's still all part of the purpose. Entertain and inspire in both of my passions.
I love the way you put your words together. You literally gave a very, very solid answer as to how you were able to do.
I hope so. To explain, and I'm long-winded, so.
Well, I'm long-winded too. You know what I mean? But the difference between me and you, it seems right now, is that like I'm long-winded, and I always feel like I'm going around the mulberry bush, whereas you was long-winded and it was very succinct. Still, you firm background, right?
Good.
I want to ask this for people who don't understand. When you do business, marketing for said business is everything. Uh, do you disagree or do you
I
agree?
absolutely agree.
Okay. So when you think marketing, you branding, you think about something fresh, something that pops. You think about name, you think about image, you think iconography, you think about feeling, you think about emotional aesthetic, you think about emotional intelligence
Oh
with
yeah.
regard to the brand. You think about all of these things. What made you lean on Primp? Because I think that is a great name.
you you
What
don't
made you lean
hear
on that?
that often, do you? You don't hear it that often. I stuck with Primp. It popped in my head one day and I never lost it because Primp is literally the literal definition of Primp is to groom or ordain oneself with meticulous care to detail,
Yeah.
right? And we ladies, just like you men, we Primp. We Primp, right? It's what we do. I think we Primp. It's what we do. We Primp, or like Little Richard used to say, I like to put it on.
Right.
Right? We put it on. And it's an old school term. Like you said, grandmothers, great grandmothers would print in the mirror and things like that. Our grandfathers, back when we used to, when the brothers used to wear suits and ties and hats down, the Harlem days and the, whatever.
Yeah.
They put,
Hats with feather
you
and
know
everything.
what? They did that. Wasn't going nowhere, but they did it, right? Just because we're just a fly people. We're just a fly kind of people. And
Right.
it's what we do, and you don't hear it enough. And I kept it and I used it because of that, number one, and number two, because I am known to say, and if anyone has ever been to one of my shows, whether it's a music show or whether it's one of my fashion shows, you've probably heard me say there's a way to do everything like a lady. Everything. I just feel like it just gets taken to the left, just a little too much, a lot of the darn times, and it drives me nuts because there's a way to do it and a way to do it well. You know what I mean? Get your Primp on, man. I love it. I feel like it's sexy at the same time. It's very very classy, and I'm all about that. And that's where the name came from. Primp Agency. We Primp.
I love I love it. I love it.
Primp.
And like you said, it's very succinct and it's very fresh, but it's sexy, like you said.
Because
Yeah,
when you say marketing, if it ain't sexy, you really ain't doing much these days. I don't care if it ain't even a sexy industry. The marketing is sexy because they know that people's attention is going to be caught.
that part, that part.
It's
But
just,
again, you guys got business 101 from Summerlin, and you also have her backstory. You have everything that she's about. Now, I want to pivot here because this is where the rubber meets the road with regard to your previous entry with the beat,
mhm.
and now you're back with this again. So the question we've already kind of touched on it, but I want to ask you just what have you been up to? Like, what are you on now?
And
Because obviously, like you said, a lot of stuff has changed and so forth and so on. It's like, what are you currently working on? Like, what is popping to get us to this point now, so people can see how you evolve and how your flower blossom. Like, I'm sure you gonna keep blossoming because that's what killers
got,
do.
got to. Got to. That's right. Well, I will tell you, during the pandemic, um, I started, well, during deep in the pandemic, I started because, I don't feel like we're ever going to be done with a darn pandemic. But
Right.
during deep in it, not long after I talked to you, I was headhunted, so to speak, by a company that I used to work for in the 90s. It's a modeling and fashion company, entertainment talent, a talent company. That's
Yeah.
Nashville, right? And asked me to come aboard and instruct and direct some of their schools. They have talent schools, right? And right down my alley. I'm like, oh yeah, okay, right down my alley. So there's models and actors and things like that in youth, but the youth,
Mm.
specifically the youth. And so I started working with this company, and lo and behold, I'm flying across the country, uh, teaching, mentoring, and directing talent schools, directing the youth, and directing the schools for them and their parents on how to be the artist, right? On
Mm.
how to, on how to be a part of this entertainment industry and touch on what that means. right? And being a part of the entertainment industry and whatever your sector is. So I have, man, since been from here to Kansas City, Missouri. I've been flying to Houston, man, New Orleans. I school in New Orleans, here in Alabama too, Mobile, Alabama, Nashville, Tennessee, um, Birmingham, Alabama, you know, hitting the youth. And that just put a bug in me that, that I typically wouldn't have paid attention to, the youth. So when I do my shows, I have a rule, and y'all work for me, y'all know that, like, yeah, show you, like, you gotta be 19 or older. 19 or older, because I don't have time for your parents. I don't need permission for things. And at 18, your mama and them still in the picture. So 19 and older is what I typically work, is a criteria for anybody I work with, whether they're an artist or they're a model, don't matter to me. 19 and older. So that was brand new to me. Working with the youth. I've always shunned the youth, like, man, work with the youth. Like, I ain't gonna have kids, but it was so rewarding. Donnie was so awesome. I absolutely loved it. And I'm like, I would never not do this. Right. And that was temporary. That wasn't that was, I'm doing this here. Every school is temporary. I love it to death. So I've blossomed, like you said, into doing it, and everything that Primp agency does now, I've added a whole service. That's where the centers come in at. That's where the centers come in at. Instead of just being able to book, a Primp agency to provide hairstyling, makeup artists, for your production and your things like that, and your magazines or whatever. And instead of being able to just hire, say, hey, you got models, so I can recommend models to you, I now can train them instead of just training my crew. Right? I'm always training my crew. So ever since then, now I'm going to grow that. I want to build that. I want to make that abundant, right? I want to train. So I've already started. And I'm going to continue. And you never know where it goes. I don't have plans to have, Primp agency centers popping up in Kansas City and Nashville, Tennessee, and things, But I'm open to where the universe gonna fly me, right? And I have a crew. I have crews. I know I have an old school Rolodex full of very established, some celebrity artists, right? To call on for things. Think they won't come through to train the youth with me? You know what I mean? So we're gonna grow that. Right. We're going to grow that. And just in all remember earlier, I listed all the cities or, the states that have artists in. Primp agency is 12 years old, 14 years old now. Oh my God. This is 2009. So 14 years old now. I've amassed a heck of a connection, a data of connections from these industries in music and in the beauty and fashion. And I feel like I'm not the only one. Like I said, I work with like-minded people. We don't work, right? I'm not the only one that is all about training the up and coming. Let's get it. That's where I'm going. That's what I started to do. So I'm doing Primp agency centers. We're going to do the school. That is what we're doing. And we're going to pop up here and there. Wherever it's needed is where it's going to be. That's what's happening. That's my focus right now, as far as business goes. Now, as far as my own career goes, right?
Okay.
Because that's separate, and I had to learn that, right? I own Primp agency. I am not Primp agency, right? I'm a whole nother entity with a whole nother set of skills and skill levels and gifts. And I sat on that. That's why I slept on me for a while. I sat on that. I use when someone calls. Say, can you sing it so and so? Sure, right? Let's go.
Okay.
A band calls, Shay, we got a show. It's going to be absolutely amazing this day. This city, this state. Can you come? I'm there with y'all, right? I met my band. They come from DC, and I'm coming from Alabama last year. This time, probably this week last year. Actually, it's like anniversary of to perform in front of like 3, 4, 5,000 people in Georgia. Never rehearsed. We hadn't rehearsed since I left Pennsylvania 10 years ago. We haven't rehearsed, but it's like, what are we doing, right? If I know what I'm doing, and you know what you're doing, when we get together, we got this. And we had a ball. People dancing in the daggone street, right? It's what we do. So I am going to get back to doing more of that because I have chilled out on being center stage. I actually chose. I felt like I chose. I went from being center stage, right, and on the posters, to taking a back seat and putting other people up front, right? I can do both. And that's the goal here. Train up those who need to be trained up, and go back out, be out center stage myself. You can't be an inspiration and not do what you do that
Right.
inspires people to do what they're meant to do. You can't. You can't. I can't live out my fullest potential without actually living to my fullest potential. So I'm back at it. I gotta get back in the forefront. That's what I'm gonna do. You're gonna see me back on stage. Y'all. I'm back back on stage. I won't backhead bounce. I won't do that. But I'm gonna be there.
Listen, I love how you put the words together. I think these are. I want to. I'm going to do my best to hold on to that because that's a very valid point and a very valid learning lesson in the middle in the middle of all of the chaos that's going on with life now. I definitely want to revisit that. But
Okay.
now I think it's a good time to transition into the music space.
Mm.
Now you have recently put out music because
Okay.
like you said,
Oh. I haven't. I sent you music,
you
but
sent me music.
that is early music. That is music. No, I have not put, and I will tell y'all this. I'm glad you mentioned that because if and when I put out like new music to buy again, my son is my producer.
Mm.
Period. So I won't be releasing anything unless my kid, Odd Music Beats, right, or LaQuinn Summerlin, unless he is producing it. Because who could do that? He was a kid. When mommy was flying here and there when I was performing, they was in the balcony and I'm on the stage down there going, sit down. Right? Yeah. They were little. Now all of a sudden he's a whole adult with a talent like crazy. My kid is my producer. I can't wait for that. We're gonna speak that. That's happening. So that's happening. But the music you have is music that was recorded. I'm glad you mentioned it. I'm still proud of it. As you, if you can't tell, I'm still proud of it. It was 1999, 2000. So that music you have is probably 22 to 23 years old, and I have two children older than my music at this point. But I'm about to re-release something
And,
because
and
I listen. I'm like, girl, that was good. Like that was good. Like y'all were good. Like on the song that you have, that "Try Me." It's my band. That's my band playing. Right? Like it's us. It's all live music. We were ridiculous. We don't do it unless we're doing it like we're doing it for TV. Like it was really good, even though I was a baby. And I wrote it all because again, songwriter. I write everything I ever do, and I sang all the backgrounds and all the leads. So we're gonna do that. But with my son this time.
I gotta say, I'm slightly kerfluffle. Like because like hearing it sounds like it's relevant for the day.
It does, right? Like some of my stuff I'm listening like, girl, you was doing that was dated. But some of the stuff I'm listening to, like, and most of it is like, dang it, I need to do that. Like I need the band to play that out loud, and I need to do that again. It needs to be out.
We gonna come back to that. We gonna because and ladies and gentlemen, like I never knew. I'm today years old. I'm like listening to it. I'm like, okay,
That's the truth.
this is new. She coming back with something dope. This is brand new. All right. And then literally mid interview, I'm like, no, this was
I
a
was
decade ago.
20
And I'm
something.
like,
I was 20 something back then. But you know what? The fact that you ain't lying. That's a favorite. People send me messages every now and then and go, where can you find your album? So y'all still want that? Right? Those who know. And that song is a favorite of a lot of people. It's just different. It's different, and it's a favorite of a lot of people, and it's good and clear. You're right. The instrumentation is classic, so it ain't going nowhere.
we gonna touch on it, ladies and gentlemen. I'm gonna go to the exclusive. We're gonna do Try Me, Sha Summerlin.
Hey, oh.
Check this out. Here we go. Check this out.
tell me to your friends, but you can't face me. Oh, he's so shy, don't know why, but it drives me crazy. You're just that guy I want in my life to stay, babe. But if you don't ever ever say so, how's the lady supposed to know? Am I supposed to know? Try me. If you wanna know, you gotta tell me so. Don't be afraid of me, baby. This love, try me. If you wanna know, you gotta tell me so. Don't be afraid of me, baby. This love, I know it's a mystery. I do what I do, and maybe it's a mystery to you. Like I do when I talk to living people, but it's just the woman in me. That's the way it's gonna be. But I want you here with me, so try me, try me. I'm so shy, don't know why, drives me crazy. You're just that guy, one of my life to stay, babe. But if you don't ever ever say so, how's a lady supposed to know? Oh, am I supposed to know? Try me. If you wanna know, you gotta tell me so. Don't be afraid of me, baby. This love, try me. If you wanna know, you gotta tell me so. Don't be afraid of me, baby.
¿Te gusta?
Claro que me gusta.
Vení a la casa en la noche.
¿Ahorita estás sola?
Sí, al sol. Veníteme a la casa solita.
Yo quiero estar contigo un rato, pero no tengo mucho tiempo.
Te vengo a la casa en la noche. Me gusta tuyo mucho.
Está bien, yo voy ahorita, agarro el carro y yo llego y vamos a ver qué hacemos.
Ven a la casa en la noche, ven. Por favor, veníteme a la casa.
¿Quieres que te vaya a hacer feliz?
Sí, feliz en la noche.
En la noche, en la cama, donde sea.
Sí.
En la esquina, en la mesa, en la sala, en el baño, donde quieres.
De todo.
De todo.
If you wanna know, you gotta tell me so. Don't be afraid of me, baby. Oh, try me. If you wanna know, you gotta tell me so. Don't be afraid of me, baby. Try me. Try me. If you wanna know. Don't be afraid of me, baby. Try me. If you wanna know, you better tell me so. Don't be afraid of me, baby.
Yes, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, what y'all don't understand is this is listen. You know, transcendent music is a different. It's a slippery slope. I don't think anybody can ever really call it until you hear it because it's an aesthetic. It fits a time, it fits an era, but it's a time and an era that most people wish they had back because the music that's here now and here, it's not transcendent. Now, with that being said, I gotta say, that's why I'm listening to it. And I'm like, well, I thought it came out like it's something new. I was like, okay, she doing it. Okay, I get it. This is okay. This is that era of music.
I
You know
love
what I mean? So I love this. I love this song. I
it.
love the attack, the approach. I love what you're doing. I love the space.
Oh,
Uh, I want you to talk about the feeling
mm,
because I think the thing about it is that that's what's to me, in my biggest opinion about music today, is that the feeling's gone.
oh,
You know, like they don't know nothing about the Righteous Brothers,
What?
They don't know nothing about, the elements.
No.
They don't like when you start talking
I,
about music to make you put you in a place to make you fit. The
yes,
Isley Brothers, they don't get that.
man. Yeah.
So I feel that this music spoke for a time that people
Mhm.
have a different comprehension on the attack of music and how to weaponize music to get what you need out of it.
Yeah.
So
Oh yeah.
what are your thoughts with that with regard to try me to now?
Mm-hmm.
But you know what I mean? Like what are your thoughts on everything that I said and encapsulate?
Oh, I can speak on that. I can I can speak on that. My dad, it being Father's Day, I just made a post about my dad. He was a DJ,
Okay.
right? My dad was a DJ throughout my teenage years and taught me how to spin, right? Records, and we talking vinyl, right?
Okay.
Records back then when you DJs was DJing, just like when the music was musicking. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I've heard, I've gotten the elements of real good, just melodies, music, feeling, that all of that from the whispers to Allison Williams. And when I say Allison Williams,
Oof, Allison
you
Williams.
remember Allison Williams? Just
Of
call
course.
my name and I'll come running.
Yeah.
I was like 15 years old, talking about just call my, you know what I mean? But it's ingrained.
Right.
It's ingrained. It's that music. It ain't going nowhere. Like you said, it transcends within us, so and you can't help but bring it out.
Yeah.
And I'm really influenced by the Stephanie Mills and the Renee and Angela Winbush and them. Right from back then, from the Jones Girls even, and from Nights of Egypt. The listen to it as a kid, you hear it's musical, right? You hear melodies, you hear harmonies, you hear music. You hear every part of it. I know it today. I probably was 8, 9, 10, 11, coming up listening to all this music, and it don't go it don't go nowhere. So I had no choice but to sound like it, sound like me with that embodied, in me, on a microphone. It didn't. I don't care if I'm singing gospel, if I'm singing jazz, if I'm singing soul, or just straight up R&B. It don't make no difference, Donnie. I'm gonna sing it all the same way. I've been told I have a jazzy tone when I sing gospel, like you get the jazzy elements and stuff in there. Help it. I couldn't help it if I tried. It's just gonna come out that way, right? Because it was ingrained, man. It is. That's good music. So I feel like no matter what I do, it's gonna come out that way. I can't help. I don't. It's. I can't help it. I was attracted to it back then, right? And all kinds of music. Okay, I'm blowing your mind. Like I said, the Righteous Brothers, love them. The Bee Gees, love them. Some of my favorite genres of music, and they all are that melodic. They all have that harmony. They all have that soul and that feeling. Is some of the 70s hair bands, the Bee Gees and them, Average White Band and them.
Average White Band.
Right. That's the Blue-Eyed Soul that was happening, right? You don't know who black or who white because you ain't got no video at the time. You just listen to it sound good. You be like, that was so
Michael McDonald's.
Come on. This is what I'm saying. That's one of my favorite genres of music. That 70s, early 80s soft rock. Because it was none but soul, right? It was none but soul. And then of course the old soul from the 50s, 60s, and 70s. Come on. Right? Come on. And they all have the same thing in common. They have a melody, they have a feeling. You don't feel it, what they're saying. 9 times out of 10, you're going to feel it, right? And a lot of times, as a songwriter, we don't even go through those. Some of us can't sing about what we don't write about, some vocalists, right? Like, I can't sing if I've never been through it, but I think as a singer-songwriter, you probably can. Like, I can, right? I can write it. I might not have been through it, but I bet you I can feel it, though, because it's a feeling. It's like being an actress. You feel it. A lot of them didn't go through what they sing about. They didn't go through it, but they know somebody did, and they can embody it and feel it. And that's what thank God, I know that I've caught that bug. I can do that. I can sit on stage and straight beg. Right? I'm begging. It sounds great. I'm begging. The band sounds amazing. I'm begging. The background vocals is crazy and everything. And in real life, I don't beg. She don't beg. But on stage, I'm James Brown. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah, but I know exactly.
it's the feeling. All of a sudden, you feeling it. Okay, quick story. I had the band. I had the band performing in my hometown in Pennsylvania. Right. My mother was visiting from Alabama, and she had never heard me with my band. Right. Of course, my mom's heard me sing since I was a kid. Right. And shows all over the place, plays and church and everywhere. But she had never heard me live with any band, unless church band, right? So she called back home to her boss and said, hey, listen, I'm going to be a little later than I thought I was going to be getting back to Alabama. My daughter's performing tonight. I'm going to stay extra night and see my daughter. Now, my mother is a preacher, a whole former pastor, okay? Mama don't do the club. You know, she ain't doing it. But her baby was performing, okay? And so she showed us, she's like, I'm coming. She can't just put me in the corner somewhere. So she put me in the corner somewhere. I don't want to put me in no drinks. Don't put me in no bottle. So we put in the corner, literally a table in the corner. But my father was there that night as well, right? Because he's from the town. My dad, is where I get all the secular from. So dad was there. Mom's a singer. So mom, I get the vocals from that side of the family, right? But for dad, I got the musicality. So dad is there, and my mom and dad, they weren't even together. They've been long, not a couple, but they're cool people. So they both came to Shay's show. I'm singing this song called Jonesin', right? Some people remember it. You can find it online if you look for it, I'm sure. It's called Jonesin', and I wrote it. I was begging, and it's like, help me release this Jones, babe. Please talk to me, right? I'm like, please talk to me, like, please. I get to singing that song with the band live, and I'm hanging off the stage. Like, it's a stage your feet could dangle off of. I'm cute as ever, afro out the hair, probably had an afro pick in it, and I'm in it. I'm sitting on the stage, and I'm begging, eyes closed, head swaying. I hear people like, sing, I know that's right. They're just having a ball. And I open my eyes and stand up and look. My mother, Preacher Williams, is in the corner, standing up in her bright red two-piece Sunday best, okay? Fanning me like I'm sing, Sha, and I'm like, oh. But the feeling takes over. Also, I'm sitting here begging in front of the pastor. We can't do this. But it was a beautiful moment to where the feeling came through to even the pastor was like, I know that. Right? Like, I know that's right. She up like she has her. Because it's a feeling and it overtakes you. And I feel like you're not performing. If at some point in time during your performance, you black out. Okay? You're not. You're not. And we all have moments where we don't really, all the time doesn't call for that. But when you're doing a concert, at some point in time, if you don't lose yourself, you didn't do it right. Right? And we all know that when we don't. Right? It's like, all right, okay. You might not know the difference, but we know the difference. We know the difference. Like, dang. Right? But when you black out, when you your mama / pastor sitting over there while you begging on the floor, you blacked out, but it must have been good. Because she was a fan that night, right? It must have been great. That passed the test. But that's that feeling. You can't help but have it if it's in you. You ain't got no choice. No choice. And that's how I got no choice.
I think that here's the thing, and I'm glad you touched on it. Here's the thing. There's people. I think the world should be divided into two people: those that can entertain and understand it. There's tons of people. Think about somebody like Mos Def, who is an amazing actor, an amazing artist,
all the way around,
but will never get the accolades it's due because people just see him one way.
Yeah,
I mean, Lauryn Hill, amazing talent, century type of talent. Never get what they do. You know what I mean?
I think people forget about Lauren. Like you forget that she's a heck of an actress before she even blew up.
And she is the female MC of all time. She's the GOAT.
Agreed.
She's the GOAT.
Agreed.
But they will never give her that because they don't understand. You know what I mean? Like people move the goalposts when it comes to stuff like that. Now I'm saying all of the same. There's those that know how to entertain and those that don't.
Talk about it.
So, you know what I mean? To be able to create a song or songs, as it were, in your case, to know how to entertain people. But then be able to be like, but we about to get this modeling agency on, though. And we're going to show them how we do this. Yeah. And we do it at a high clip, right? But then be able to be like, so after X amount of time, I decided to come back and I'm going to show you still how it's done. It's something to that now. It's something to that now. Like we got to talk about it. I don't know how to put it into words.
Okay.
But we got to talk about it because it's not for the everyday endeavor. Okay. So with that being said, and we are pretty close to the end time, but I want you to speak to those that may be watching, those that may be listening, those are people that really are into everything that it is that you're doing, but don't know how to put it together for themselves. If you could simplify Sha Summerlin, simplify Primp agencies, excuse me, I had to put the encapsulation on the S. Right. You know what I mean? In its entire gloriousness, right? And you can encapsulate everything that it is that you do and to dumb it down for the next person to kind of pick it up. Obviously, we don't want them to because, again, you can't recreate genius, right? But I want you to say it in a perspective so that if anybody really were to try to glean any kind of information, to try to figure it out for themselves, just how in the heck did you do that? How Bruce Lee was Bruce Lee? How Marvin Gaye was Marvin Gaye?
Right.
How do you do it?
Listen, I go internally, and I don't make moves unless I'm led to make them. Honestly, don't. I don't make moves unless I'm led to make them. I don't care if I have to cancel something, reschedule something, just full out go, yeah, no, right? I don't, just, no. If I'm not led, I don't make a move until I'm led in that direction to do it, or else it ain't gonna work.
Right.
So you have to remember that. If you got a passion for what you do, and again, since I was a child, I knew I was gonna be doing this, right? So I knew that I was going to be doing something in this capacity. I'm going to be on stage. I'm going to sing, and I'm also going to lead a whole crew or crews in doing this type of, in doing these type of fashion show. I knew that I was going to be doing that. I just didn't know how yet, right? But I will say when it all started to come together, the only way I'm able to do both is by focusing on it quietly. Not talking about it until it's time to do it. And it ain't time to do it until you're led to do it. Talk about it internally. I do a lot of journaling, Don. I do a lot of doodling, right? I get ideas, I write them down. I don't necessarily talk about it. You got to watch who you talk about. You talk to. You got to watch who you give your dreams and your ideas to. You got to watch who you express yourself to. Like, I'm going to entertain, I'm going to be, I'm going to inspire people. Because if somebody y'all heard this before, if somebody can't see it in themselves, they don't see it for you. So they're going to shut it down, right? Or they're going to throw some negative salt on it or something. They're not going to support you. They're going to go, you might get some backhanded, compliments. Oh, that's good. Your little whatever, right? You're not going to get what you need. So whatever it is that you aspire to do, specifically in my sectors, right? In the fashion industry and in the music industries, keep it to yourself and write it down. Speak to it. Write it down, speak to it yourself. Put that out to the universe and your higher power. Yourself. I can't express it enough. Not on social media. Not even your best friend if your best friend ain't there. Right? Mentally. To
Right.
accept that and see you as that. You got to see yourself doing the duality of the things. See yourself doing everything you desire to do, be, and have. What it is that you desire to do, be, and have in life, and whatever you see that you can achieve, and you know it. Like I'm 12 years old knowing I can do this. I didn't know I can do that, but I know that I can do it, right? Something in me say I can do this, and I'm very confident about that. And I was right because I was led to do it. Don't do nothing until you sit with it yourself and be led to make a move one way or another, and do that by yourself. Okay. And to the people who can help you along the way, people who you need, to get where you need to go, only. Seriously.
Right.
Only. And when it's time to make that thing public, then do that. Right. Do that. But while you're working on the duality of the things, I want to pull together this, whatever that one passion is, and I want to pull together this other passion. Write that thing down. Write it down and write down all the scenarios that it could possibly be. Pray on it. Think on it, meditate on it, whatever it is that you do, but look at it every daggone day. Sometimes several times a day. Look at it, read over it that night. Revise it whenever you need to, and move when led, but move by yourself. Move by yourself. And watch yourself blossom. That's my biggest advice. I don't even know if that answered your question, but that's my biggest. I've learned that big time.
No, it absolutely answers the question, because it speaks to the genre of people that understand what core belief is.
Yeah. And creatives are really misunderstood. Like if you're interested in anything that I'm involved in, you're a creative, and we are misunderstood. Everybody don't think. My dad used to tell me, everybody don't think like you. It's the truth. So they're not gonna get it like you, understand it like you. They're not gonna get it like you said. Everybody don't get it. They're misunderstood. You don't understand. Lauryn Hill couldn't tell you she was going to have that kind of career because he'd be like, you okay?
It's interesting. I put it in the terms of like, and I don't know if you're a Marvel or DC, comic book person.
I kind of.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I was a nerd. So when I grew up, I was into comic books heavy, and my thing is I'm attached. I put things into comic books, right? Specifically with the Superman reference, because people don't understand Superman is the only person in the pantheon of all superheroes that he was already Superman. He was just trying to dumb himself down so other people can accept him. Okay, so that is that. So that's where the core of my theory comes from. And I'm looking from the thing with Superman is that in order for him to metastasize who he was, he never talked about who he was to people. He just was.
He just was.
And so from that point, he let his work speak.
Yes.
And so people don't understand that as artists, that's kind of the company we got to keep. Not everybody's going to see the vision. If everybody could see the vision, then everybody would don a cape. But then that would lessen the importance and lessen the power of Superman himself.
Donnie, you saying something?
Man, it's Sunday, because you know what I'm saying. Like,
push a little bit, because that
is Sunday.
Right. That's exactly right. That's the perfect analogy. That's exactly right. You really do. He just was. If that, we're gonna make a T-shirt.
Listen, I'm gonna leap this tall building in a single bound.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm gonna go faster than this speeding bullet. I'm gonna do all of these things, but the whole time, I put these glasses on.
What? Because you can't see me doing none of that. It's okay.
And it's still the most asinine thing in the world, because it's like you can't understand that, like with the glasses, you can't see that this is blue.
Totally.
You know
what? No, that is a good point, because you can see somebody being extraordinary in their field, and they tell you, I'm about to do this other extraordinary thing. You just like, yeah, all right. They can't see it, don't want to see it, or just can't see it. Like, how could you see? You could probably tell I'm capable of this, right? Just no, can't see it.
And that's why the Superman theory is golden.
Perfect.
And it's golden. And the thing about it is it's the most asinine thing on the planet. It'd be like you don't see the dude with the cleft chin with the, you know what I mean?
Same dude.
He just got the swoosh. He come with a swoosh back. But when he come down, he got a curl. I don't know what to tell you. It's about to be different. You know what I mean?
Same cat. And you know what? I love that so much. I'm gonna take that with me the entire time I spend that because that's
Knock
perfect.
yourself out.
That's exactly what I mean. You got to keep it to yourself and just do what you do.
Do what you do. But at the end of the in a way that kind of metaphorically transitions over to this conversation. At the end of the day, you have been on your Superman. You know what I mean, or Superwoman, as it will.
Oh my God.
And I feel people need to understand that if you look, because not everybody is privy to look. I'm sorry, I'm one of those people that's archaic, and I believe that not everybody's entitled to their opinion. I feel that not all people are created equal. Okay, so you don't hear me quantifying. Oh, okay, because NASA they a bunch of amateurs, and you know what I'm saying, like they don't know what they're doing, throwing rockets up. I'm not an astronaut. I'm not qualified to speak on them put rockets up in orbit. You know what I mean? And so we are luckily or unluckily, we're in an industry where, and I say this all the time, musicians specifically, or entertainers even more so thereof, we are the only industry in the world that when you graduate from college, you don't automatically become that.
Right.
So it's difficult, which is why it's so congested, because everybody feel what they can do what you do.
Right. Oh my goodness. Right.
So with that being said, I champion you. I champion all of the things that you do. I champion people like you and that's what this platform is about. Is so people can understand that there's people that like even people like I've had artists on recently that the integrity of their product may not be exactly aligned with people previously or people after them, but the vision is there.
Yeah.
And I can see what you're doing.
Yeah.
And if more people took that approach and looked at it, it's like, this is what's happening. This is going to happen right in front of your face. Instead of that whole, I mean, it's all right, my cousin does it and they do it better. And your cousin probably don't even have the gene. They probably don't even understand.
Seriously, there is only one you. I don't care how many people do or claim to do or attempt to do what you do. You the only one that do what you can nobody do me like me. Not now. So I can teach as many people as possible, as many people who want to learn how to produce a fashion show. Got you. I give you tips, tricks, all the little whatever. I give it to you. That is fine by me, because you ain't gonna never be able to do it like I do, or she does, or he does, and that's the point. Do you? You know what I mean? I don't teach people how to sing. I've never had lessons myself. I've never had lessons, so I don't teach people how to sing. And I'm a firm believer in everybody ain't meant to sing, everybody can't sing. If you can't sing, you ain't gonna be able to learn how to sing. So sorry, I don't. You either do that. I feel like you either do that or you don't. Right? I feel like that's one of them things. Like you said, you can't go to school and learn this and then come out and have a job. I don't feel like you can learn how to do something like sing and then come out singing. You can learn how to sing better, but you got to have something already. Or you just don't have that. That is not your gift, and find your gift and move in it, or else you're not going to prosper anyway. It ain't you. Do you. It ain't but one of you. It's only one of you. Can't nobody do you like you. I don't care if y'all all learn the same thing.
And even I'm a double down on what you said. And I've said this before on this podcast, and I'll say it again. And I even tell my children this, and I swear it on everything. I would absolutely tell my children this. No matter what it is, there is only one you. Even if you have kids, your kids is never designed to be you. Your kids are designed to be versions of you, but not you.
That's right.
Be the best version of you can be. There will never be another you.
Never. That is a whole other reason why you can't take nobody else's opinion of you seriously. You don't know me.
What can you do? What I can do?
You don't know me. Only I know. Only I can do me like me.
Right.
Yeah, I can't tell my daughter what to do and how to do it and what she's gonna be. She's a version of me, not me. I can't speak for her or to her. I can't speak to her, right? Only she can speak to her. Like, be you. Yeah, that's good advice for your kids. I love it. That's me all day. Nobody's ever been able to tell me anything as a mother or a father or an ex-husband. They can say that girl. When I have a mindset to do something, I'm like a dog on a bone with it. Not because I'm hard headed and I just want to do this, right? I'm led and driven to do it, and I can't not do it. I'm gonna be the most miserable soul ever if I never did what I do. If I stopped trying to sing, I've tried that before. I was the most depressed, miserable something. I was like, ooh, when I was younger, I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna just chill out, right? No, I couldn't. I couldn't. You can't. When something is in you, it's in you, and it is yours to take where you're supposed to take it, and only you can do that. Only you can do that. So don't ever sit on a talent. You don't ever sit on a talent. You don't sit on a gift. Everybody don't have it. Everybody don't have it.
And it's not for everybody to be able to dictate that to you. Destiny, talent is married to destiny.
Oh, it truly is. Find yours. Find yours. And like I said, focus on that thing, meditate on that thing, write it down. Even if you don't know how to get from A to B, just see yourself at B. It ain't your business how you get there. Let the universe figure that out. It ain't your business how you get there. Don't not do it because you can't see how to do it, right? You know you're capable. You know within you, you're capable, but you don't see how. It ain't for you to know all the how. Quit trying to figure things out for yourself. No, put it down. See it and watch yourself. Be led. Take the steps as you're intuitively giving and go. Do you.
As I say, keep walking till you get there.
Keep walking till you get there. You don't have to know. You don't need to know how, all the steps. You are not, you ain't Jesus Christ. You don't know all your steps. You don't know. You know where you want to go. Start, you don't know. Stop trying to figure out, I can't do that because I don't know how to do it. You don't need to know how to do everything. Take a step. Take a step and be led for the next step. Wait to be led for the next step. Take a little action and watch that be a roller coaster of things. You got to take action. Don't say, I don't know how, so don't do nothing. Don't do that. You got to take actions.
Not enough people know how to be led in order to be a follower.
Like, oh my goodness, you have got to, right? Because I'm a leader all day. How about I follow? I know how to follow too. You got to be smart. I know when to sit down and listen and be fed some kind of information or something so that I can be led to the next. You got to learn how. You don't know everything. And I used to know everything. I know how to get, that's why I ain't getting nowhere. I knew everything. Well, you don't know nothing, right? You don't know. Learn every day. Learn something new. Reach out to me, y'all. Listen, on my Instagram, and this is no exaggeration. This is no joke. On my IG,
this is beautiful.
Hook up with me now, and on my Facebook as well. It's just Sha Summerlin on Facebook, or Primp Agency on Facebook. Reach out to me. Like he said, hit me in my DMs if you must with questions you may have. Anything. I am that girl. I don't just be like, what you asking me? what he want with me? No, I got you, because nobody had me like that. Right. You know what I mean? Nobody had me like that. Nobody had me like that. I had a manager eventually, and my manager D, hey D, that's my guy today. I just sent him Happy Father's Day, right? Him and his wife, like our TKO management team. Hey B Dub, Ruby Red, and my people, right? We had Big Al. We were like a unit, right? When we were out, we were a unit, but we didn't know everything. We just wanted to make it, right? We just wanted to make it. We're all performers, we're rappers, we're singers. We just wanted to make it, and figured it out. Even my management, we were figuring it out. So today, anybody, the models and actresses that are at the schools that I've directed and taught at, wherever they are in the country, they hit me up still today. They've been graduated and gone. They still hit me up today, like, Miss Shay, right? How can I, right? X, Y, Z, or whatever. Anything. You can ask me anything. That's what I'm here for. And that is, again, that's my legacy, I feel like. That is my legacy with myself and my Primp Agency is to, we're going to be here, entertain and inspire, but we're going to mentor and leave something for somebody else to be able to be that entertainer and inspire. Right? So reach out if you have anything that I can maybe possibly help you with. I will do that. That is what I do.
I told y'all she was dope. Y'all didn't listen to her. You know what I'm saying? Like, just take this back and this is like you need to go back a couple seasons and then you find the previous episode. You gonna get everything you know you need to know out of life, man.
Oh man, I'm glad you had me back. I'm glad. I appreciate you.
Shay, you was always welcome on the platform, whatever platform I got. You
Father's
always
Day.
thank you so much. Thank you. And actually, well, one of my children took the time to decide to respond. Thank you. My Shay.
Oh, hey.
You know, I'll take it.
Right.
You know, dads can always get the short of the stick. We ain't get no holidays. Good. They just give us ties and socks. You know, but it's all good.
That's
But
it.
saying all that to say, look, it's always a pleasure, especially just from talent to ingenuity to sheer just will. Sister
Yeah.
got it together. Thank you
Thank
for
you.
everything that you do, and we appreciate you in just in life. You know
Oh,
what I mean?
thank
And
you.
that's not even a like
Mm.
in the world of Andy Cohen's and the daggone housewives and all that. You know what I mean? No shade to Andy Cohen, but you know what I mean.
I
But
feel you.
for it's a blessing. So thank you. Keep pushing, keep pioneering, keep the torch going for those that uh, don't understand how dark it is out here in these streets. You know,
I'll shine as much as I can. I'll shine that light. I wasn't giving it for nothing.
but definitely. But make sure you, like I said, this is Sha Summerlin. Make sure you like and subscribe, follow her. I'm gonna throw this Instagram down at the bottom. Follow Sha Summerlin at Sha Summerlin Official. She has Primp Agency online. I'm sure you can Google that. You can find that. You can put it on Insta, Facebook, the whole nine. Just whatever you can do, get that information. Reach out to the sister. She has a whole life's worth of knowledge base that I'm sure she'll be willing to give back to you at a nominal fee. You know what I mean? but like I said, it is what it is, and it is absolutely a pleasure. And at any point in time, you got anything that you want to bring back, you're always welcome. You already know that. You got any last words before we get up out of here?
I do not. I feel like I've talked too much because I'm low. But
Inconceivable.
you know what I mean? The only thing I will say is I appreciate you, number one. Thank you for having me back. And I appreciate you. And for anybody who's watching, I appreciate every bit of support I've ever gotten from anybody. I appreciate any patronization I've ever gotten from anybody. That goes into music and that goes for Primp Agency as well. And I ask that you continue to support me and my company as we expand in new territories, plural, and as as we grow and as I grow as a human being, I ask you to keep me in prayer, keep my company in prayer, and for you to seriously reach out to me at any time. That keeps me going, that I can help you keep going. So thank you.
And she will. And she will. Real recognize real, ladies and gentlemen, and that's why she's on the show, because she is one of the dopest that does what she does at a high clip. And I dare I say, challenge me, and then let me know if you feel to the contrary. But I guarantee you, I probably wouldn't get such a thing. That's the kind of belief I got. That's the kind of belief I got in her. That's the kind of belief I got in my guests, because my guests are all dope, and that is just what that is. Shay, listen, hang on for a second. Like I said, if you got a few seconds afterwards, and then we're going to compartmentalize everything and then just put everything in the appropriate place after that. But, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in. Again, I'm thankful because the Beat TV LA was my COVID pivot, and it is still pivoting 7 seasons later. We go into season 8, ladies and gentlemen, and think about it: 7 seasons, 20 episodes.
That's awesome.
You know what I mean?
Doing
And
it. You're doing something.
I'm doing okay. You know what I mean? I just want to keep doing okay. You know what I mean? But and that's just the podcast. That's a whole other story. But make sure, like I said, you like and subscribe to all of my guests. But we have this guest today, Sha Summerlin. Make sure you like and subscribe, Sha Summerlin, on all social media. Follow Primp Agency. Follow Sha Summerlin. I'm booked clear through July, ladies and gentlemen. Almost August. No, actually in August too. Now that I think about it, so I can't even off the top of my head say who's next. I gotta go into the calendar. Maybe I'm a poor host.
No, that's wonderful. That's a good.
Eh, you know, but I know I got somebody coming up next. You know what I'm saying? So, ladies and gentlemen, like I said, without further ado, we are at the end of time. I got to give Shay her money, her minutes back, and her money back because time,
Time is
money.
money.
You see what I did there, right? So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm out. I'm thankful for your you following. I'm thankful for you watching. Make sure you like and subscribe. Follow her. Make sure you like and subscribe to Beat TV LA, the Beat TV LA, all one word on all social media. We out here in these streets while she primping. I'm out here getting it. Ladies and gentlemen, we out. Donnie B got the beats. We live on the beat. Ladies and gentlemen, we out. Peace.
Donnie, Donnie,